Hey guys, I'm here in the forest of Skyrim because I wanted to do a little rant for you guys. Just a little something that's been on my mind. I think that power scaling is basically bullshit, right? I will preface this by saying that I watch a lot of the power scaling videos, and they can be very informative for learning more about the characters and stuff. But actually deciding who is stronger and who would win in a fight, right? Is kind of a bullshit community. You know what I mean? First of all, it's you can't really say like who would win in a fight because but every different property and universe works by totally different rules. You know what I mean? And they're written by different writers, and they write combats differently and stuff. Who would win in a fight doesn't really apply when you know, it's not like the power, like the individual writers' things that they say about what is powerful and what is not are bullshit. You know what I mean? They, like writers are not physicists. They don't understand the physics of the thing that they say their character can do, right? They just say that they can do it. And because of that, there's inconsistencies all the time, right? You see people get beat by people they never should have been beaten by, even in the actual movie or whatever, right? Or even in the comic book, or in the people are constantly losing to people far weaker than them because it's not about who's more powerful, right? Who would win in a fight is whoever does the thing in the fight that makes you win, right? If you actually take two skilled combatants in real life and give them like fencing swords, right? Um, they won't win 100% of the time based on whoever's more skilled, right? A fight could go either way based on what happens in the fight, right? It's not preordained by who's the most skilled in the universe, you know what I mean? That helps, but there's also an element of unpredictability, different types of situational advantages, different types of skill sets, right? Not being prepared for what somebody else is doing, being, you know, there's way too many factors that you could ever know. And it's cool to, and I definitely do the speculation and say, I think this person would win, I think this person would win. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. It's fun to do that, but just know that it's not real, right? It's fake, right? Don't take this shit so fucking seriously. And you may say, oh, I already do that. Well, maybe you do that. But I definitely see tons of people online who take like power matchups way too seriously, right? And they think they're completely objectively right that their person would win. Like, okay, how many times do you see people, uh, like, how many times do you see a superhero, like, struggle to lift a meteor 1 minute, but then they can blow up a planet with a single punch the next, right? There's no actual number. There is no power level. Like that's a myth, right? There is no that is not true. And how many people do you see on YouTube who are fans of like one particular game or one particular series, right? And they have a bunch of videos about how their favorite fandom would win in a fight against everything else, right? Even though they admit they don't know anything about any other property, but they do know that all those other properties are weaker than the one that they like. Does that make sense to you guys? Because there's obviously some fandom bias going on, right? How many times have you said to yourself that the person who would win is the person who you want to win because you actually like the show, right? I feel like nobody is saying this, but it's obvious that so many people are just biased for their favorite thing, right? Like, there's been plenty of times in my life where it's been like, yeah, I totally prefer, like, this or that, but I feel like it would lose. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because that's the thing that you need to understand is that who would win in a fight does not equal, like, what is the better show? What is the better movie? What is the better comic book? Right? Who would win in a fight? The person who would win in a fight is the person who would make the fans the most happy. Right? If you actually had a collaboration between, like, I don't know, say like every Marvel character and every DC character, right? The people who would win wouldn't really make sense. It would be more about like pleasing the fans, right? I think there was one where they actually did that, right? They did a matchup where people people could vote, right? People voted on who would win, right? And that's obviously not like based on facts, right? If it's just popular vote, right? I don't know. There is no fact of who would win. Sometimes it is, right? Like, obviously, fucking SpongeBob would not win against Dr. Manhattan, right? But you guys need to stop taking these fucking death battles too so seriously, right? Stop saying, oh, my fandom's being disgraced because it's the most powerful, right? Your fandom being the most powerful does not make it the coolest, right? You're only driving fans away, right? They think that it's going to be boring because it's going to be so fucking powerful, right? I personally think that sometimes I prefer a little bit of weakness in my universes, right? A little bit of more grounded powers. Right? That was one of the things that was refreshing to me about like My Hero Academia is that the powers aren't crazy, like powerful. They're just very niche powers. It's a more grounded approach to superpowers. And that could be a good thing, right? That doesn't mean I think that like All Might would beat Superman, right? No. Actually, I'm more of a DC fan, but like you get my point. Okay, guys. I think that's enough of the rant for today. Have a good one. Bye.